Have you ever picked up your camera and felt nothing? No excitement, no curiosity, no spark? If that's you right now, I want you to hear this first. You're not broken. Your creativity just needs to breathe. One of the biggest myths in photography is that inspiration just shows up when we're serious enough or skilled enough or disciplined enough. But creativity doesn't work like that. Creativity needs space and it needs play, and sometimes it needs people. One of the most powerful ways I know to recharge creatively is this: schedule a photo adventure with your photo friends. Not a client shoot, not a portfolio building mission, not a we must come home with a masterpiece day at all. Nope, just a shared commitment to explore, with cameras in hand of course, purely for the joy of seeing. Honestly, you could do this with anyone, but I think doing it with other photographers just makes it so much better. Here's why. They understand when you stop for the light and maybe linger a while. They don't rush you when inspiration hits and you're hanging out by the pool way too long. They see things that you wouldn't notice on your own. And here's the magic part. When you shoot alongside other creatives, your vision starts to stretch. Someone may notice a cool reflection. Someone else gets all excited about color. That would be me, of course. Another person changes perspective entirely. Suddenly, you're not stuck in your usual patterns. You're playing in new ones. I've found that when I shoot with other photographers, something incredible happens. Creative cross-pollination. You might arrive with one idea, but you leave with 5 new ones you never even planned. You can say, I never would have framed it that way, or I wouldn't have noticed that shadow. Of course, that would be me doing all the shadow shots. I'm crazy about shadows. It's the synergy that happens with other creatives. That's your creative battery recharging in real time. I'll never forget an amazing trip I took with 5 other creative photographers in 2018. We went to Zion National Park first and spent a couple magical days shooting and playing and freezing. It was the first week in December. I'll never forget walking up the Narrows in waterproof socks in December. Epic numb, and it was so worth it. Then we were joined by 2 more photographer friends, and the 8 of us hiked 10 miles into the heart of the Grand Canyon to Havasu Falls. Absolutely unforgettable. This is one of my most favorite portraits taken by my master photographer friend, Ken Martin. That trip fed my creativity for years, and I still marvel and review at some of those images. Of course, we did go to Havasu to get some epic pictures, and it was an incredible adventure. But it's just as effective, and sometimes more practical, to just go out in your own neighborhood or your own city or state. Like the local Imaginarium is in town right now, and I went there last night with my mom. Lots of night lights and fun stuff for kids, and it was really fun. One rule I live by on creative recharge adventures is this: no pressure to come home with a good photo. The goal isn't results, the goal is curiosity. Try this mindset shift. You're not hunting images, you're responding to what draws you in. You're letting interest lead, not expectations. There's no rules. When you release the pressure to perform, creativity shows up naturally. And here's a good technique. Go someplace where you have no idea what to expect. 4 of us photo friends went to San Francisco to the Golden Gate Park Lightscape last week. We had no idea what it was going to be like, except that it was a 45-minute walk through the park at night, and we would see lights. Well, it was so fun. It was kind of a slow go, literally meandering on a crowded path. We were pushed along the route and saw so many fabulously lit trees, textures, and light shows. I was completely energized and inspired, and I was so glad I brought my wide-angle lens. Here's a few other creative recharge ideas to spark fresh inspiration. Revisit an old location with new intention. Limit yourself to 1 lens or 1 focal length. Not my favorite thing to do, but I did that in San Francisco, where I just had a little crossbody bag and 1 camera and 1 lens. It was definitely the way to go. You can also shoot just a color or a mood or a texture, and don't do subjects. Or give yourself an assignment. You can also turn your walk into a visual scavenger hunt. How about this? Create a tiny series instead of a single hero image. One thing I like to do is create kindred series with 3 to 4 images that are all kindred in some way, by topic or color or vibe. It's kind of fun and the creative options are endless. You can always look at other photographers' work too, but look out of curiosity, not comparison. And sometimes the most creative thing you can do is simply notice what excites you again. Creativity doesn't disappear. It just goes quiet when it's ignored or overworked. And often the fastest way back isn't learning something new, it's remembering why you fell in love with seeing in the first place. If you've been feeling uninspired, here's your permission slip. You're allowed to play. You're allowed to explore without outcomes. And you're allowed to create just because it brings you joy. This week, I invite you to do one simple thing. Plan a creative outing. Whether it's with photo friends or solo, just go shoot for fun with no agenda, no pressure, just curiosity. And remember, creativity isn't something you force, it's something you nurture. I'll see you back here next Friday. Until then, create with intention and give your creativity room to breathe.